Hey, what's going on, friends? This is Paul Hutchings with episode 56 of The Good Parts. I can't believe I've done 56 of these episodes. Crazy, right? If you're tuning in today, I want to share here, I'm stumbling over my words. Here's what you're going to get if you decide to watch today's video. I'm going to share with you, as I wrote in the description, an area that it actually pays to have a closed mind, as well as one of my favorite money-making phrases that I've used over the years that has paid me a lot of income. And I'm sharing them together because they relate. So that's what's in today's episode. If you are joining me live and or on the replay, comment below. Let me know who you are, where you're plugging in from. And if you're live, I'll broadcast your picture and name and comment on the screen. So also, if you see the little scrolling thing at the bottom of the video, that's kind of cool. I put the headline of the video, and then today I did a little shameless plug for my business. So if you want to learn how to grow residual income faster in amazing ways that make you feel good, that serve people, that lift people, that make the world a better place, you can see my web link on the scrolling ticker. So let's go ahead and get into this. So I've been reading a book pretty much every day for over a decade. And you may be able to guess the book. If you know me, you probably know the book. Hey, Bill Fever, good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in today. But the book is called Think and Grow Rich. And today I noticed something that I had not noticed before. And as I wrote in the description of the live today, one of my highest values, I think, is having an open mind. I think having an open mind is very key to growth. I was actually at an event in, where were we at? Phoenix, Arizona. And I was talking to one of my friends, Josh Schonert, who watches these Good Parts episodes, apparently. Hey, Josh, thanks for tuning in. I was talking to him earlier this week, and he said that these Good Parts episodes that I'm doing, and also that Marion LaSalle is doing, he's really enjoying and are helping him, through things that he's going through in his life. So I appreciate that. But anyway, I was with Josh, and we were at this event, and he was telling me about how he and his wife, Katie, had begun taking yoga classes. And hey, what's up, Debbie Wood? Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Debbie, have you started your Good Parts episodes? Would love to hear how you're doing on that. Good to see you. So he and his wife, Katie, were doing yoga. And he said that their instructor, when they would stretch out, the instructor taught them to have their palms open. So when they went like this, they were having their palms open. And part of the reason that the instructor told them to do it that way is because the instructor said, you want to have an open heart. You want to be open to receiving, all the good that life has to offer. And I thought that was really great, and it relates to this having an open mind. If you have an open mind, you can learn things you didn't know. You can, find opportunities that you didn't know were there. So this has been is like one of my highest values over the years. And in alignment with that, hey, Hermione Doris DeJean. I can't say that right. So I don't know where that is. But Hermione, I think, is how you say your name. Thanks for tuning in. So that this relates, being open relates to one of my favorite money-making phrases that I've used a lot over the years as I've connected with people to build various businesses. And can you guys guess what that phrase is? Okay, Hermione's in the Netherlands. Cool. Thanks for tuning in from the Netherlands. The phrase is, are you open? Are you open to taking a look at something that might help you grow an additional income? Are you open to looking at a business project that might be fairly lucrative? Are you open? And what my mentors taught me early on was that they said nobody wants to be perceived as having a closed mind. So when you use that phrase in the right way, laden with benefits, right? That makes it better. It makes it more powerful. So if you actually know the person you're giving the invitation to, you've had a conversation with them, you know what some of their problems are, maybe what their goal is or their dream is, you can make that invitation, that money-making phrase, even better by including the specific dream or problem that person told you that they had. And the way that would look is like if I was talking to Hermione here, and she told me she wanted to make $3,000 a month from home so that she could get rid of the job that she didn't like. And I listened, and she told me that. And in the conversation, I could say, at some point I could say, wow, that's, it's awesome. I admire that goal. Hermine, if I could show you a way to achieve that $3,000 per month goal so you can quit that job a little faster, would you be open to watching a video that might help you do that? And if you use phrases like that, it's really, really hard for people to say no. And especially because people don't want to be perceived as having a closed mind. So, so there's that. That's the money making phrase. And so I've always valued having an open mind. I want to be open to learning things. And so this morning I was reading this book that I've read nearly every day, as I said, for so long. And I noticed something. The author actually had 4 steps to success. And one of them was having a closed mind. And I thought, whoa, I've never noticed that before. So what I want to do is I want to share with you where he said you should have a closed mind, and where I wrote in the description of this this live where it pays to have a closed mind, because I do believe that the author is correct on this. So, you know, do we want to be open-minded on everything? Are there areas that we want to be closed-minded on? And if so, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. And I'm going to pull this up and share what the author wrote here. And if I can find the spot in the book. So I think we were on 283 because I want to broadcast it on the screen if I can. Okay, I've got it. I've got it. Thanks for your patience here. Veronique from Belgium. Wow, we got the Netherlands and Belgium in the house, and we got the US of A in the house. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, Veronique. Okay, so here is the text that I read this morning from Think and Grow Rich, 4 Steps to Success. And here's the one in focus. A mind closed tightly. Closed. A closed mind. What? A closed mind? What? Against what? Against all negative and discouraging influences, including negative suggestions of relatives, friends, and acquaintances. So he said we should have a closed mind on those areas. And I wanted to share just some additional insight on this. You know, what does it mean to have a closed mind against negative influences? And what are negative influences? Comment below if you have some ideas on what things would be categorized as negative influences. And I'm going to give you some of my thoughts, okay? Blame. Anytime you're blaming or someone else is blaming, it's his fault, it's her fault, because so-and-so did this. It's, you know, oh, my life is messed up. I'm having these neighbors. It's all someone else's fault. That's a negative influence. Because what blame does is it encourages us to not take full responsibility for our lives. So I would categorize blame as one form of negative influence. And then the next 3 that came to mind for me, I learned in the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And those are the 3 C's that he said you should never do. First C is criticize. He says you should never criticize people. And, you know, over the years, as I've thought about that and thought, I mean, is it really true that you should never, ever criticize someone? What if there's a public figure that is doing very unethical things and is harming people? Does that person deserve to be called out and criticized? Maybe, I don't know. For this, what I'm applying this to is business. So when you're working with people, whether it's prospects or team members, customers, you probably should never criticize those people. And the reason why, there's a couple reasons why. One, people don't usually take criticism well. So even if the criticism is accurate, people tend to get offended when you put them down. And you don't want to offend people. You want to lift people and encourage people. And that's a way to help people feel drawn to you. If you're someone who's not like always pointing out people's faults. And the other thing I've noticed is that if you encourage people's strengths rather than highlight the weaknesses, a lot of times they'll lean into the strengths and they'll become better in those areas, and they'll stay around you. And if they stay around you and you can, instead of criticizing, be the change you wish to see in other people. In other words, give people an example. Notice things that are like, oh, it might be better if they didn't do this particular thing. But rather than call that out, take that into yourself and give a positive example of the opposite, and be that leader. And that tends, I think, to help people grow and change and get better over time. So blame, criticize is a form of negativity. Condemning people is a form of negativity. You know, condemning would be like, condemning in my mind would be like judgment, but not judgment in the sense of like discernment, but judgment in the sense of, he's a bad person, she's a terrible person. You know, like basically casting waving your magic wand over someone with your words, and just like, and putting them in a bucket that they can't ever get out of. That would be condemning. And obviously that doesn't feel good to be condemned. So we don't want to do that. And so there's blame, criticize, condemn, blame, criticize, condemn. And the last one is complain, right? Complaining is a form of negativity, I think, where you're just like, what is complaining? Complaining is using your words to highlight the negative side of life and business. And, you know, it seems like in life, there are negatives and there are positives. There's a great book called Compensation by Ralph Waldo Emerson, where he, with his words, illustrates how there's a polarity in really all things in life. At nighttime, it's dark. In daytime, it's light. Positive, negative, right? The ocean tide, you know, it goes in, comes in, and it goes out. In, out, negative, positive. There are a lot of things you can look at in life that have an upside and a downside, right? And so complaining would be using your words to highlight all the negative aspects of something, rather than kind of like using your words to highlight the positive aspects of something. And complaining doesn't feel good. You know, it's like, it brings you down. You know, it's like Eeyore with a negative cloud over his head. It doesn't feel good. You don't want to be around people who are always calling out the downsides of life. It's like, are there downsides of life? Yes, obviously. But do we need to talk about them? Do we need to fill our minds with them all the time? No. If we can get rid of those and instead fill our minds with all of the good, because there is so much good everywhere, if our consciousness can notice it and allow it to fill our minds and then fill our words, that's a better thing. So Napoleon Hill says, close your mind against negative influences, blaming, criticizing, condemning, and complaining. And I wanted to end with a story, and then I'll come back to the comment. So let me know, guys, what do you think? Are there other forms of negative influence that I missed? And do you have any stories on your journey of how negativity came at you and could have kept you down, but you instead cut it out, you closed your mind against it, and you kept moving forward? And really, I think that's one of the reasons we want to close our mind against the negativity, because it can stop us. It can stop us from moving forward. And I'll give you just one example. So when I was getting started in business, on my entrepreneurial journey, I had just started. You know, I was building a home-based business. And at the time I was living in a single wide mobile home. And there was this moment where my family and I, we were preparing for a camping trip. And there were some people gathered around, some family members that had come over to visit as I was hooking up the camp trailer to the back of the truck. And while we were sitting there, one of the people there, one of the family members there, we were next to my single wide mobile home. And one of the family members there said, "I can't believe your wife puts up with this." And I said, "Puts up with what?" And she said, "Puts up with you keeping your family cramped in this tight little shack." So it was kind of like she was looking down on the home we were living in, which was a mobile home, a single wide mobile home. And that is an example of someone maybe sending some negativity at me that I could have taken into me and said, you know what? She's right. I should not keep my family in this mobile home. I should go, get a job like everyone else, get an income coming in, and I should get a mortgage like everyone else, and I should buy a nice house for my family to live in. That could have been the effect. But instead, what happened for me was I'd already had this inner dialogue with myself where I said, the reason we're living in a single wide trailer house is so we don't have to go in debt, so we can save money as fast as we can, so we can not be strapped to a mortgage, which will allow us to take a little bit more risk in business, to not have the job and to work on my business every day. And there are good reasons why we are living in a single wide mobile home. Good reasons. So when that negative comment came my way, I was able to say, nope, I'm closing my mind against that because I've already thought through this and this is the path for us. And I'm going to keep moving forward on my path. So I closed that out. And what was the result? We stayed in that mobile home. I continued to build my business. And then we eventually created a lot of success in business. And we were able to get out of the mobile home and eventually buy our dream home in the country on the acreage that we wanted. And, happily ever after. Although the story's still going, still building, still serving, still doing the best that I can to help people. But the point is, had I not closed my mind against that negative influence, it could have knocked me out of the game. And that's what negativity can do for you. Doubts, I guess, would be another form. That just popped in my mind. Doubts could be another form of negative influence. And doubts can come from us. Why is doubt destructive? Shakespeare said, our doubts are traitors that make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. And then you could also say doubts are traitors that make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to continue. When the doubts creep in and we give in to those, doubts take us off the path. They say, you're not good enough. This isn't working. You're not going to make it happen. You don't have what it takes. And if you give into those things, that negative influence, you're off the path. You're done. You're out of the game. But the truth is, in my path and for all of the paths of the successful entrepreneurs that I know, they all had doubts come to them. They all had self-doubt. They all had future doubt. They all wondered, do they really have what it takes? Is this really the business for them? Is this really going to work for them? And it's faith that gets us through those. We have to have faith because there's a growth process to creating success. My first year in business, I made no money. My first 12 months, $0. And then the next few years were not much better. So 4 years, I was building my business. First year, no money. Next 3 years, few $100s here and there, not much to write home about. I had all the evidence in the world for doubting myself. Gosh, Paul, you've been doing this for 4 years. It's not working. You should quit. You should go do something else. But thankfully, somehow I found a way to get through those doubts, to cut out that negative influence, to close my mind against it, and instead fill my mind with my dream, my vision, my philosophy, my goals, my plans. And because I was able to get through those doubts, get them out, focus on the good, keep moving forward, it all worked out in the end. So I wanted to pass this along as food for thought. Hopefully it's been of value to you today. And if you're finding me for the first time, I do these good parts Monday through Friday, every day on social media. If you got value from this, please consider subscribing to me on social media, or you can subscribe to my email list, which I think is the best way to stay connected to me. And the website's there, paulhutchings.net/GIFTS. And I have some gifts there. Not gifts like the funny moving animated pictures, but some gifts like on Christmas morning that you can pick up that I've put together in an effort to strive to deliver value to you, things that will help you on your journey. And that's how you can be sure to get these episodes via email in the future. So with that, thanks for listening thus far. We've got a couple handfuls of people here live. So thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you being here. And I want to check the comments here. So Veronique in Belgium says, so true. Negativity gives you negative feelings. Yes, it does, right? Brings us down, man. We don't want to be down. We want to be up. So such a good point there. So have a closed mind for negativity and think only positive. It will give you more possibilities and opportunities to go for your goals. That's the power of positive thinking. I love that. Thank you so much, Veronique, for sharing that. You reminded me of another quote that I love from Elon Musk. And Elon Musk said, I'd rather be an optimist and wrong than be a pessimist and right. Isn't that good? So I love that. Thanks for reminding me of that, Veronique. Veronique says, no, it's better to let those people go. Those who will bring you down and are not a plus for your development. Yeah, so true. And this is a tough one for people. One of the common things that's taught in personal development is that there may be people in your life that are not serving your highest good. And people teach that it might be a good thing to kind of like let those people go and find people to be surrounded with that are serving your highest good. those people that are supporting you and believing in you and encouraging you forward. And that can be a hard thing for people. And I know because, I've talked to people over the years. They're like, well, I can't just let I've been friends with this person for all my life, even though they're negative, even though they're bringing me down. And if you're empathetic, it's hard to let go of those relationships. But it does seem to be somewhat necessary. It does seem to be somewhat necessary. Bill Fever says negative thoughts can lead to depression. Need to focus on positive and be around people that encourage you. That is why I'm sticking close to you. Oh, thanks so much. That makes me so happy that I'm a positive influence on you, Bill. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And by the way, you're a hugely positive influence on me as well. So that's why I'm sticking close to you too, Bill. Veronique says, the moment you let go, the person that will bring you down, the right people, and all you want to manifest will come into your life. I believe that. Life is sort of magical, I think, mystical in some way. A lot of the books say that, you attract what you fill your mind with. And that seems very true. I have some people around me that are just so positive and filled with love and filled with service and filled with servant hearts and understanding and patience and persistence. And I sometimes look at these people and I'm just so thankful for them. I'm like, how did I get to be connected to you? And maybe it's partly because these lessons came to me a long time ago, and I've worked fairly diligently on filling my mind with good things. And maybe I have attracted, some of these people. Rita Joy Gray says, great message as usual. Thank you so much, Rita Joy. Appreciate you. Veronique says, love this episode. Thanks, Veronique. Appreciate that very much. And Veronique also says, it can and will be difficult, but indeed necessary for your goals and dreams. Great comment. And she also says, indeed, Paul, you've got the nail on the head. Or how do you say it? I hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head, I think. That reminded me, yesterday we were working on some electrical stuff, and my brother-in-law brought this 8-foot tall metal rod, and my job was to take a sledgehammer and pound that thing into the ground. And I worked for like 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Can you imagine pounding with a hammer into the ground, hitting that nail on the head and just driving it deep into the ground? And at the end of that, my muscles were all like, it was like the best workout I've ever had for my biceps and my arms. Like my veins were popping. I was like, holy cow. Could you imagine if you swung a hammer every day? Anyway, that's totally random. Monty, hey, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in today. And thanks for saying hello in the comments below. So that's it, guys. Hope you have a great day. Take action today. Go for your dreams. Cut those negative influences out of your life. Ooh, Amy Star Allen. She says, love this. You are such a bright light. I'm so happy I get to be connected to you. Feeling is mutual, Amy, 100% mutual. You're definitely one of those people that I was talking about that I just look at you and I'm like, how did Amy Star Allen, come into my life? And how is it that I'm so lucky and fortunate and blessed to have Amy's light shining into me so much? I sincerely mean that. So thank you. Marion LaSalle. Hey, Marion says, love your lives. Thank you so much. Marion, I don't know if you heard earlier on, but I shouted you out because I was talking to Josh Schoner and he mentioned you and your Good Parts episodes and my Good Parts episodes as being valuable to his journey. So thank you, Marion, for what you're doing and your consistency. You're making a difference, and I appreciate your influence. Daphne says, happy Freedom Friday. Yes, happy Freedom Friday. All right, guys, I'm going to cut this off. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. I'll be back Monday for the next Good Parts episode. And between now and then, whatever you do, always go for your dreams. Thanks for tuning in. Take care and bye for now.